our News Center 7 I-team discovered there are trains stopped on tracks for hours across the country and right here in the Miami Valley. And our John Bedell found those delays could be putting lives at risk. Here is what lawmakers said needs to change to keep you safe.
This is such a big problem. A case made it all the way to the Ohio Supreme Court last year, asking whether local officials can issue citations to rail companies for blocked crossings. The court ruled they cannot, saying federal law overrides their authority, leaving our communities with few options. When there's an emergency, response times can mean the difference between life and death.
Someone's having a stroke or heart attack. Maybe it's a fire where you have a house fire. Minutes matter.
But across the U.S., there are scenes just like this, where first responders can't get to the people who need them. The News Center 7 I-team dug through federal records and found more than 30,000 people across the country reported blocked railroad crossings last year. More than 3,500 of those were right here in Ohio, ranking us second in the nation. And those are just the blocked crossings people took the time to report. Here in the Miami Valley, it's a big problem in the small community of Campbellstown in Preble County.
We have had the rail who will park here in Preble County while it times out between Chicago and Cincinnati.
County officials tell the I-team they've been working with Norfolk Southern for years on the ongoing problem.
They're blocking multiple crossings, and at times it's for several hours, if not 10 or 12 hours, or could even be a couple days they sit there.
The county is now looking at a software program called TrainFo. It would use sensors to tell dispatchers when either a moving or parked train is blocking a crossing, how long it could be there, and give first responders detours.
So for us, the rail pretty much cuts the county at a diagonal. So our emergency responders, depending upon what side they're in, what emergency they're going to respond to, we need to have good communication taking place that we can respond timely.
Preble County negotiated a deal with Norfolk Southern to use money from the company to pay for the technology. If commissioners decide to go ahead with the project, it would not be paid for with taxpayer dollars.
There's no end in sight as far as we can tell about how far the railroads are willing to go when it comes to the length of trains.
Jared Cassidy is with the largest union representing rail industry workers. He has concerns about longer trains becoming more common as a cost-saving measure for the rail industry.
It shouldn't be about time or money. It should be about public and the risk that is involved therein.
When longer trains slow or stop, they block more crossings at once.
Unhooking at a crossing is a very, very, very difficult process, and it's unsafe for the crew members, and it puts major delay into the system.
Professor Alan Zaremski has worked in the train industry for decades. The I-team asked him why it hasn't done more to address the problem.
Is there an easy solution for that? No, there are expensive solutions to that.
Safety reform for the rail industry has moved slowly. Only now are Ohio's U.S. senators pushing for changes. We've asked Ohio's senior senator about the timing of recent proposed rail safety changes in our previous investigations. You've been in the Senate a long time. Why hasn't this become a law before? Why has this legislation taken so long to happen? Senator Sherrod Brown said train lobbyists have been the most powerful in Congress for a century.
Part of their power is nobody was paying attention. And I mean, nobody was paying attention to some of the things they do in local communities, dividing communities, holding up traffic, sometimes preventing fire stations, fire departments to get across the tracks, whatever.
Brown and Senator J.D. Vance are co-sponsoring the Railway Safety Act. Among other proposals, it includes new requirements to help prevent blocked railroad crossings.
I don't think that a long train is inherently a problem. You just have to make sure you have the proper safety precautions in place when you have a longer train.
We can all apologize that we didn't get stuff done earlier, but we also know that the railroads too often had their way with Congress and too often had their way with the regulators, and we need to fix that and we need to work on this.
The rail industry has fought proposed changes over the years. Zaremski says that's because lawmakers often write bills without first consulting industry experts to see what's feasible. In this case, Norfolk Southern told the I-team it will support some of what's in the Railway Safety Act. For the I-team, I'm John Bedell, News Center 7.